Hello, my name is Angelina and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a very late October wrap-up and also a tiny bit of a book haul for September and October. So this video is very late because I have moved and have not had time to film anything until today, which is also why probably right before this video you saw my September wrap-up, which is extremely late considering it's November. So first I want to start with the book haul that I have. This is the books that I've acquired from September to October. It's a very small book haul. I've only acquired 3 books in these 2 months. Again, September and October were very hectic months, so I wasn't really going out and buying books. But yeah, let's talk about them. So the only book that I acquired in the month of September was Ruination by Anthony Reynolds. This book. I've already read it. I absolutely loved it. I buddy read it with one of my friends. It was a great time. And if you are any sort of fan of League of Legends or the Netflix series Arcane, you will absolutely adore this book. I also very heavily annotated it and I really want to reread it. So this book follows a couple different characters, but mainly Callista, who is sort of the advisor and general to her uncle, King Viago. And, you know, some things happen where Viago has tasked Callista to go on this sort of adventure to find this object that nobody believes is real. And things ensue from there. This is a fantasy book, magic, politics, all the good stuff. I do talk about this in my September wrap-up, which was just posted. I will have that linked in the cards above and in the description below if you want to check it out. But I love this book and I'm really glad that I bought a copy so that I could annotate it and stuff. And then in October, I received 2 books from publishers, so thank you very much to them. So the first book that I was sent is Unseelie by Ivelisse Huisman, and this is a YA fantasy following 2 twin sisters, and one of them has autism. And the autism rep is really what drew me into this book, and I do believe the author also has autism. So that's always nice to see. I don't think I have ever read a fantasy book featuring an autistic main character, so I'm really looking forward to this one. And it does come out on January 3rd of 2023 if you want to check it out for yourself. I do plan on reading this one very, very soon, so hopefully I end up really liking it. And then the other book that I was sent is Metamorphosis by Ovid, and all I know is that this is a classic, and this is technically an ARC copy, well, a finished copy, but this edition is not yet published. I believe this is the first time it's being translated by a woman, so it's a whole new perspective on this story, and I just absolutely love this edition. It's just really pretty. But other than that, I have never read this before, and I don't know anything about it. But I am excited to give it a try. We love supporting our female translators, so I'm excited for this one. So these are the 3 books that I acquired during September and October. Yes, thank you again to the publishers for sending me these 2, but let's now go and move on to what I actually ended up reading in October. So October is actually my lowest reading month so far this year. I read 6 books, which is still quite a lot. Just not usually my average for the month. But out of these 6 books, 3 of them were physical books, 2 of them were audiobooks, and 1 of them was an ebook. One of the books that I read in October was actually a reread, and for my average rating, I had a 3.75 average rating. So the first book I finished in October is Always Human by Ari North. This is the reread that I had for this month, and this is a graphic novel. This is my unfinished copy. It has been published. This came out in 2020, but I reread it and I really enjoyed it again, and I gave it 4 stars. But this follows these 2 girls who live in this futuristic world where there are body modifications, and that basically means that there are mods you can install in your body for any sort of purpose. So one of our main characters, she uses it to change her looks, but they also use them when they're in school, so like sort of a memory thing, so you can easily remember all of your material and stuff. And then our other main character, she has this condition that does not allow her body to use these mods. So in this world, her sort of disability is of not being able to use mods makes her really stand out. And you know, we're following these 2 girls and their relationship and sort of exploring this world of body modifications and sort of disabilities in a futuristic technology-driven world. There's lots of casual queer representation that we love to see, and it's a really beautiful story. I would definitely recommend it if you have not yet checked this one out. But the next book I finished was Beast of Prey by Ayana Gray, and this is another YA fantasy book following this one girl who is indentured to this sort of magical zoo, and then this guy who is to become this warrior. So Coffee, I believe that's how you pronounce her name, she ends up revealing that she has magic, and obviously as an indentured servant to the zoo, she's not allowed to have this power, so she ends up going on the run, and Econ, who is in this warrior training thing, is tasked to kill her, but then they end up teaming up and they have to sort of kill this magical beast. They sort of end up falling in love. You got sort of this betrayal arc because obviously he's sent to kill her. She doesn't know that. They're working together, falling in love. I gave this one 3 stars. It was okay. It was enjoyable. I really liked sort of the setting. I was not a fan of the romance aspect personally, but you know, it was fine. I get why a lot of people really love this book, and I might continue on in the series or duology. Is it a series? I don't know. I know that the second book came out, and I also believe this is being turned into like a TV show or a movie or something. And I will definitely check that out because like the ideas are really good. Maybe it's also because I listened to this as an audiobook. That maybe sort of drew me out of the story a little bit, but you know, it was a decent book. I had a good time with it, and I gave it 3 stars. And then I listened to Disability Visibility, which is edited by Alice Wong, and it's basically sort of each person tells their own story about living with a disability, whether it's a visible disability or if it's not, and just sort of how disabilities are represented in media, that sort of thing. This was really good. I would highly recommend the audiobook. I did give this one 4 stars just because, as with all collections of things, some work better than others. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think it's an important nonfiction read. If you're looking for more disability books to check out, definitely give this one a try. And then I read How the Wallflower Was Won by Ava Lee, and this is a historical romance, and I did read an ARC copy from NetGalley, although this was published in September, so it is already out if you want to check it out. So this follows our main character, Finn and Tabitha. Finn is always out gambling. He has no care in the world for marriage. And Tabitha is also not looking for marriage. She wants to get into this prestigious society that's focused on sort of education and learning, things like that. And they end up coming together when she realizes that to get into this society that is only full of men, they won't allow her even to sort of try out for it unless she has a husband. And Finn is about to be cut off from all of his money if he doesn't find a wife. And while he himself does not care about the money, he does have brothers who are relying on this money, and all three of them need to be married in order for all of them to get money still. So obviously he has to do his part and get married, which puts these two in the path of sort of this marriage of convenience situation, and they obviously end up falling in love. And I thought this one was really cute. I gave it 4 stars. I always love seeing a woman who are sort of going after what they want, not really caring about the guy, and like focusing on education and like doing something with their life, I guess. I also like the ending and how it was handled, and sort of how she has this whole friend group that really supports her and stuff, and how diverse her friend group was. But I definitely give this one a try if you like historical romances. And then I read The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. This is a YA horror book. I don't know what to consider it. I don't even remember the main character's name. I probably should have looked this up. But she lives in sort of this community that is very male dominated. So when all the girls in this community come of age, all the eligible men, no matter their age, basically get to lay claim to one of them and get married, and the women have no choice. But there's like the superstition that all the women who come of age, they are entering their grace year, and so they get sent into the forest to basically all live together for a year and get rid of their magic. So we're following our main character. It's her grace year. She goes out to the woods and she discovers secrets. She discovers where these women's powers are coming from. That's kind of all I can say, I think, about what this book is about. But I gave this one 3 stars. Thinking back on it, it might be a lower 3 stars. You know, this is one that is very hard to read. So, you know, check trigger warnings, you know, sexual assault, sexual harassment, that sort of stuff, as well as violence, murder, death type stuff. It's interesting about what's really going on and stuff, and I really like the horror aspect, the survival aspect, all that stuff, really great. But then at the end, there is a romance brought in, and it ruins the whole vibe of the book for me. Like, you're in such like a tense survival situation, and then it's just like, oh, we're in love now, and it didn't make sense to me. I really, really disliked it, and that was pretty much like the whole ending of the book. But the themes and stuff that it explores is really interesting, which is kind of why I gave it a 3 stars, because I see what it was trying to do, and I like what it was trying to do. It just, it fell through at the end. Alright, and then the last book that I read in October was actually my favorite of all the books that I read, and that is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shay Earnshaw. So this is a YA sort of fantasy book, you know, following the aftermath of The Nightmare Before Christmas, from Sally's point of view. And in this, Sally and Jack end up getting married, and she is now the Pumpkin Queen, and she's sort of struggling with her role. She was always this outsider in Halloween Town, so now that she is like the spotlight, everyone's coming to her for advice or to do things, to help plan and stuff. She is sort of out of her element and uncomfortable, but it is up to her when one day everyone in Halloween Town ends up falling asleep and no one can be awoken. So I just want to say that if you have ever read a Shay Earnshaw book before, you will know that she has a very distinct sort of writing style that's very atmospheric, very mysterious, very cozy, that sort of vibe. And that was perfect for the story. Like, it gives Tim Burton vibes just from the writing alone. The atmosphere was great, the characters were great, the whole plot of it was really great. I do think this is kind of written on sort of the lower end of YA, but like, it is a Disney imprint book, so I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I'm also a very big fan of The Nightmare Before Christmas, so that might also play a lot into why I like this book. But you know, this was perfect to read around Halloween time, and I would highly recommend it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I didn't give it a full 5 stars just because there's one part at the beginning where the pacing was kind of off, but that was really it. I rounded it up to a 5 on Goodreads. I would highly recommend this book if you want sort of a very cozy sort of fall book. Okay, so those were all 6 of the books that I read in October. Thank you for making it this far into the video. So leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment down below of anything you feel like, any comments you have, what you read in October, if you've read any of these books, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!